Hello again, friends. My name is Jake. This is Returning Retro, and I am so excited to be with you here for another video. I feel like I say that every time, but it's true, especially this one. Back from the hospital, I had a very strange and unexpected case of severe dehydration. Stay hydrated, my friends. But yes, I had the excellent opportunity to sit down with Chris and Sebastian from Sidephone to talk about some very exciting details. Not going to give anything away here, but I do apologize. At around the 48-minute mark, you'll notice that Sebastian inexplicably is just gone. He was there. We were still talking to him, and he was interacting with us, but for some reason, my capture software it just stopped working. So I apologize for that. I've talked to Sebastian. We are going to re-record some of it, and that'll come out in a forthcoming video to go over some of the stuff that we discussed with him, specifically more of the software related stuff. But anyway, without further ado, I present to you the world reveal of the final production design of Sidephone. Thank you both so much for joining me. Thanks for coming back on the channel. I have been just on the edge of my seat anticipating this call, as we've kind of discussed a little bit on the subreddit, as well as in the Sidephone subreddit, the Returning Retro subreddit, some stuff that I've put out there. This call has necessitated a couple of postponements, and in case you guys don't know, which I'm sure you do, you have a lot of fans. I mean, a lot of fans. I have been, I don't want to say inundated with messages, but so many people commenting on the video that we did, or posts that I have done in the Sidephone page or on my own page, just asking questions. When are we going to know more? When are we going to? So I actually did compile a quick little FAQ list for maybe once we get to that point of the call. But honestly, gentlemen, I kind of want to turn it to you guys and whatever updates you have for us, and really just kind of let the call be yours. So, Chris, Sebastian, take it away to show us what you've got.
Absolutely. We have a ton to share, and look, I know we've been a bit secretive over the last month or two. Uh, that all changes today. That all changes with this phone call. From here on out, it's truly going to be Sidephone is truly going to be out there for the world to see. And Jake, you've been an excellent partner in this from day one. I think of all of the people we've had in the community, you have been incredibly supportive throughout the entire process, and thank you very much for that. Before we even jump into it, I do want to ask, it's everything been good with the recovery? I know the other day um, you posted from the hospital room. How are you feeling?
I'm doing much better, and
Yeah.
because I really appreciate that. The recovering is going great. I would say I'm at about 75-80% right now. So if I seem a little bit low energy, I apologize. But yeah, thankfully things have been going a lot better. I was telling Sebastian a little bit about what had happened, that I had messaged you. I've got my anti dehydration device right here to hopefully prevent a recurrence. So but and of course, thanks for the kind words, Chris. I am very enthusiastic about what you guys are doing, about what Sidephone as a product, but also as a philosophy, as a mindset represents. And so I'm thrilled and happy to support the project.
Incredible. I, philosophy is such an important word because that's really where the entire product started. Everything that you're about to see today is just raw passion. It's a product that Sebastian and I have been thinking about for many months, and truthfully, I'm a little nervous because Sebastian and I, we don't have deep pockets. When we went into this project, we knew we were up against companies with many millions and billions of dollars. The mobile phone industry is not an easy place to compete. And Sebastian and I, we looked at what we're able to do, and we said, we only have one shot at this. And with that mentality, we put every single thing we could into this product. And what we're about to share with you now is everything that we could do and everything that we think the world would need. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I've prepared a few presentations to take us through.
Oh,
Again,
awesome.
if you could time check me and just make sure we're on track, that would be incredible. I'll try and be as succinct as possible as we work our way through the slides. But what I wanted to do here and how I want to structure the call was to really paint the story of Sidephone, how we went through all the different iterations. Because over the last few weeks, I know as we've shifted the design a little bit, people have asked me, is this a new phone that is available? Is this the Gen 2, the Gen 3? Are these different phones that could be purchased? And that is not the case. I just want to be very, very clear right now that Sidephone as a product has, we were very clear from day one that we don't want to accept anyone's money, because all we really have right now is a passion to create a product that is different from the black mirrors, the square rectangles that we all know. And we don't, at the time, we didn't know exactly what the production version would look like. So we're very clear in terms of, hey, this is our mission. This is what we want to do. If you want to follow along with us on this journey and see where we eventually end up, let's connect. Send us your email, join the wait list. And when we eventually get to that point, we will share everything and accept money for pre-orders. So long story short, all these different iterations we've shown, I really hope it doesn't confuse people. They were really parts of the process to get us to where we are inevitably today. And what I will share today with Sebastian is the final production version of the phone. It's not going to change from here. We're going to go from this to pre-orders very soon. So it's
Okay,
very,
and that
very
is
exciting
actually
call.
one of the questions that popped up was, okay, so is this the final, or will there be a final? Or so, okay, right there, that answers
Very
that.
that is a very good question. And granted, given all the changes that have happened so far, I could see why that is being asked. This is what the final phone will look like, and we'll talk through that together now. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to jump into. Can you see this here?
Yep, there it is.
I'm on hotel Wi-Fi right now, so it might be a little bit spotty.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, what we're looking at right now is the Sidephone website, and this hasn't really changed much since December when it was first revealed, released. And the purpose of this website here at the time, which actually had a different phone, it had the first generation of the product. The purpose of this website was really to see if there is any market demand for an alternative to a smartphone. This was something that uh, that I had seen hints of. I know me myself personally, I knew I wanted a product like this to exist, but I genuinely wanted to see what sort of market demand existed for a product like this. So we created this website here, and at the time, the product that existed on this site was this device here. What I
Okay,
have in my
I have
hands.
seen that somewhere. Did you
Yep,
post
yep.
about that on the Reddit page at one point?
Yes, this is
Okay,
where the project began. This is where the project of Sidephone began, I'll explain a little bit about where this phone came from, where it came to be. When I initially entered the dumb phones community, I was looking for a device that I could use on occasion to disconnect from my smartphone and all the notifications and the noise that had come with it, all the distraction. And what I had gravitated to was this right here, which is the Cat S22. This became my dumb phone. And I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great that I could have Uber on it, that I could have Spotify, all my different apps. I loved a lot about what this had offered, but there were a few things that had made this an impossibility for me to continue to use on a daily basis. And the first one was just how heavy it all was. This is not a compact device. This, I'm sure, in certain cases, could be considered a weapon just because of how durable it is. This is quite a behemoth. And what I had done is I thought, what if something like this could be made in a smaller form factor? So I did a lot of research and I actually looked for the manufacturer of this device here. And I'd reached out to them and I'd said, um, would it be possible to take all of the internals of this, but put it into a different package? And the manufacturer had showed me an array of different devices that they were creating. And one of the devices that they were creating was this here. It's a bit different.
Oh,
This is
okay.
this the manufacturer had a whole lineup of different devices that they sell and offer. And this was one of them. But there's a key difference. The screen is a little bit smaller. The the keypad, of course, is a bit different. But I had ultimately asked them, could we take something that visually looks like this and take the internals of this one and put it in? And they said, yes, this is a possibility. And they're willing to do it. They love the mission, what the company had stood for. And that is when the website was first created and revealed to the public. It was with this on it. And this is really where it all began. Now, something had happened around Christmas time, actually. It was Christmas Day where I got a message from the manufacturer. What was initially a minimum order quantity of 1,000 units quickly became a minimum order quantity of 20,000 units. So with this
Oh,
device here, to bring this to market, initially it was about 1,000 units, which is something that I was comfortable with because it meant that that we could basically bootstrap the whole entire thing. Around Christmas Day, that became an impossibility. Now we were looking at a minimum project cost of about $750,000, which is just not viable. And that conversation, that email, basically, when I'd first received it, I thought the project was dead in the water. I didn't think there was any possibility of continuing forward, and it was really discouraging to want to create something, to be able to want to create something, but to not even have an option. And that's when I reached out to everyone I could for help. And one of the first people that I'd come across at the time was Sebastian. Sebastian and I, we connected just after Christmas, and immediately there were tons of alignment in terms of what we wanted to build and what we wanted to create. Around that time, I'd also connected with Pete Hine from the UK, an industrial designer, and together we said, you know what, we're not going to give up here. We're going to continue forward, and we're going to see if we can create a design that is completely our own. Because this one here, as great as it looks, it was licensed to the original manufacturer. So we couldn't just take this and then shop around for someone else to build it. This design was owned by the first manufacturer.
makes sense.
So we said what we're going to do instead is we're going to completely redesign the phone, and we're going to look for other manufacturers. We're going to build this thing. We're going to do what we can to bring Sidephone to the world. And as we went through and we did our design, this is what we inevitably came up with. And the cool part of this design here, I'd say one of the core aspects of it was what we had called the rail mount system. It was this thin line that goes protrudes along the edge of the device, and it makes it really easy to slide on different back panels, different color cases, and the keypad here you can see also detached as well. So you can switch the color of that. What we're seeing with this as a fourth component really is modularity, the ability to create a device that people can customize and personalize to their own individual needs. That was just the core principle of this product. And I have an example of what that would have looked like here. This is, if it looks a little bit scratched up, it's because I tried to spray paint this on the way to Japan here. I just wanted to look a little bit more like a cell phone. It was previously like a beige 3D printed color, but this is what it would have looked like in hand. And you can see the edge here, how it basically slides out to reveal the back panel, put a
Oh,
battery
yeah.
in, put the micro SD. This was the second iteration that we had created at the time. And what we had done was we took this product and we started to reach out to different manufacturers. With the design in hand now, we said, we basically wanted to see what it would what it would cost to build this, and could we get that minimum order quantity back to 1,000 units. In February, first couple weeks, we probably spoke to about 25 to 30 different manufacturers and supply chain managers in and around Shenzhen. And we had realized that what we had here in our hand, as great as it wasn't manufactured. And more than that, it was something that didn't really give the most premium feel in hand. This component here, sliding it out, the ability to 3D print the device, as cool as it was, if someone was to drop this, there's a risk that it could just split into 4 or 5 different pieces, which isn't ideal.
Ooh, yeah.
People would want a device that feels solid. This is something that continuously comes up in the community. And unfortunately, this design, as cool as it was, didn't fit the bill. But in that process, we ended up meeting a manufacturer that completely blew us away in terms of their vision, in terms of the other capabilities that they have. They weren't even a cell phone manufacturer. What we're building with them is the first cell phone that they've built as
No
a
way.
business. Yep. Well, this just even goes to show how out of the box we went in terms of trying to find a manufacturer. We didn't just go to cell phone companies. We approached anyone, even in a related industry and field, to see if they would be able to build this thing. We basically lifted up every single rock that we could to try and get this thing into market. That's how passionate and motivated we were to continue forward after the initial setback. And that's the resilience I think that you need to be in this market. So what we had done was we ended up meeting this manufacturer that was actually a manufacturer of wearables. So they created smart rings, smart watches, and we had told them about the project, told them about what we wanted to build, and they actually flagged a lot of the same risks that we ourselves understood about the drawbacks of this design. And together with that manufacturer, we came up with what we're about to share with you now, which is the production Sidephone.
Oh boy.
Do we get should we get a drum roll going?
I was gonna say.
Yeah, we definitely could. It's the first, as we get into it, one of the first things I'll say is, in addition to changing the design of the phone, we've also changed the brand. This brand here, the logo, the font, everything about Sidephone, it also changed with the phone. And we're completely, as of today, we're reinventing ourselves. And what Sidephone will look like is this right here.
Whoa. What in the world? I have no words. That looks so cool.
I think that statement right there encapsulates the beauty of this to us. What in the world? To me, looking at this design, it was really out of this world. We wanted to create a device that was timeless, that looks like it came from space, that looks like a device, honestly, astronauts can use. We wanted to create a device that would look like the communication tool someone would use in 2050. After we have learned as humanity the consequences of having effectively tablets on us at every point in time to consume content, we basically had asked ourselves, what's the future of communication look like? And it's small form factor devices. It's something that's easily pocketable, but still big enough to have powerful computer processing within it, and really be a tether to the applications you need. And there are a couple of things I want to talk about in terms of this design. And
well, Chris, real quick. I hate to interrupt, but I have to tell you, in case you couldn't tell by my expression and my reaction, I think that thing looks amazing. I think that is like, it's somehow like 2006 meets 2086 at the, I don't even know how to describe what I'm looking at here, you guys. Like, I mean, out of the ballpark. You guys, like, seriously, I think this thing, my expectations were pretty high, but this is just blowing me away right now. I could just look at this thing all day.
Yeah, yeah. And what we had done with this product was we, again, this whole entire project just being so passion led, uh, we wanted to make sure that the design that we create paid homage to all of the companies that have come before us. And in this design, you're going to find inspiration, especially on the side profile of the initial iPhone. You're going to find inspiration here of your traditional candy bar Nokias. You're going to find inspiration, as we'll see in a moment, of Blackberries. All of phone history from as early as the 1980s were designs that we'd considered and wanted to put into this product. And again, it just goes back to our whole mission and goal of creating a device for all of humanity. It's an amalgamation, I think, a beautiful amalgamation of phone history. And what I'd like to do now is talk to you about some of the really, really cool functionality that we've been able to include and why it's taken so long to get to this point. We've actually, as part of building this, we've actually patented several items, and the design included is of course patented as well, because we think this is something that we will honestly sell for many, many years to come. All just, again, stems from the fact that it's timeless. This is a device that we think will look great in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years. This to us is the perfect phone to have on your person.
I just love it. I love it so much.
Here's what it looks like in terms of the lineup of all of the different devices, where it had started, where we had eventually gone with our January pivot, and what the production phone will look like. And what we're seeing here is a lot more premium of a product, something that is a lot more durable, something that has actually taken the essence of the initial phone, which many people in the community had commented. You know, when we posted the January pivot and we shared that online, a lot of people in the community loved the design, got a lot of thumbs up, but there were also a few people that we had spoke to who said they don't love it. And that more than anything was motivation to rethink things and create a better product. And what they had commented, we truly took to heart. And I'm personally going to be reaching out to those people that have commented to see if we've done something a little bit better. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, Sebastian and I, we work for everyone in that community. We want to build stuff that they love, and we're
Chris,
hoping that this has taken us closer.
Are these images to scale? Like you've somehow made it smaller?
Phone, the production side phone, is it's a smaller form factor than the first phone.
Wow.
That we created with a larger screen. Yes. It's not, I should have probably made that last image a tad larger, but what I can do is show you what it looks like in my hand right here.
Oh, you've got it with you.
This is the side phone. This is not a production version. So it's very much for photography. That's why the screen is a little grayer here, but this is what it would look like in hand. And what I'd like to show you now is how this compares to a Cat S22. So this is a Cat S22. This is what people, I'd say the most popular product in the community right now is. And look how thick this product is compared to what we've been able to create here.
Unbelievable. Oh, man. And
this has double the power of this. Yeah, and it's got the same screen size as we open it up. As we open it up here, you can see that screen size there. It's the exact same as what we have on this product, but it's just so much more portable. And that was the goal from day one of the project, is how can we make this more pocketable and better and more future-proof as well, because this is nearing end of life. We truly think that the next step for the community as a whole is going to be moving from this to this. And this is what the initial phone had looked like. So you can see this one's a little bit wider, but it's actually shorter, and it is thinner as well.
I mean, am I dreaming right now? Is this real life? Sebastian, I think you need to pinch me.
It's about to get a bit better, Jake.
Yeah, that's how I feel looking at it, honestly. It's so good.
It's about to get even better. So in terms of specs here, you know what? I actually want to park this just for a moment because I know there's another file I'd want to share before we get into the specs. Specs will do last in the last few minutes. What I'd want to open now is this file here, which shows us the future possibilities of this device and what we're going to continue to build towards. What we've seen here, again, is the Sidephone as it would ship in a box with a plastic cover over the top. The neat thing about this device here, and one of the core patented items that we've worked towards, is this idea of a modular keypad. This is something we initially had thought of when it comes to this device here, but this was really a keyboard layout that had sat over a PCB that had a fixed T9 input. But with this product, we matured that thought even further, and we said, what if we could change the way the inputs are built completely? So all of the electronics for the input actually sit within the tiles above it. And that would allow you to take off, as I've shown you this example here with the T9, it would allow you to take that piece off and switch it with whatever input you'd want. And I'll show you some exciting versions right now. So it just clips on just like this with magnets, and it could be any input you want. I'll show you some variations right now that are really exciting. And Sebastian and I, we both have different opinions on which ones we would rock, which is beautiful. And Jake, I think the third one you might love. So there really is something for everyone here, and there's something for every occasion, which I'll speak to as well. So this is the...
Now, real quick, I feel like I have to, even at this point, I can't even wrap my mind around this. Ah, man, I'm sorry. I can't, you guys know me. I can't contain my enthusiasm. Sorry, Chris, please.
And again, all I can say there is what you're seeing here is passion, love, and genuine motivation to create something for the world that's different from what everyone's used to. Sebastian and I, we always see people commenting that they can't go to a simpler life. It's an impossibility for X, Y, Z reason, and more than anything, that's been a motivator for us to just change that. And we think this product will do that. And we want to course correct. Honestly, as crazy as this sounds, I think humanity could use a bit of a course correction here in terms of how we use the technology on our person.
Couldn't agree more.
I'm in Japan right now, and one of the reasons I came here, aside of course from vacation, was because I had this genuine curiosity if this obsession with phones is a North American problem or if this is an international problem. And I've been to Europe and I've seen what Europe has looked like in terms of phone addiction. I've of course been across North America, never been to Asia until this trip here. And it's the exact same. I was on the subway the other day. I looked around and every single person was buried in their device, doing different things, whether it was messaging, games, reading the news, but everyone was buried in their device. No one was talking to each other. And it had just made me realize that this is a global issue. And it would just be, I think it's honestly, Sebastian and I, we both feel this way. And Sebastian, don't want to speak for you here, but I genuinely feel like this is my purpose. This is the hill that I want to die on. I don't think that having giant rectangles on you that consume all of your time and energy is healthy. I think it's ruining humanity, and I wanted to take a stand against that. And Sebastian felt the exact same way. That's why we teamed up, and that's why we put everything into what we see here. And what I want to do now, show you some variations that we've designed, which I think are really exciting, and speak through some of those. So this, of course, is the T9, and we've removed the letters on the T9, particularly because we think that this form factor looks a lot cleaner, but also the screen is touchscreen. So if you do want to send a message, you just put your hands up and you use a QWERTY keypad, just as you would on any smartphone. That would be how you'd send your text. It would be through the tapping on the screen itself, which is the most intuitive system, it wouldn't be to use the T9, although these keys are mappable. So if someone did want to install that, they would be able to. And in the future, we might actually sell a variant of the tile that has the letters. But this is the standard version, and we're sort of expecting that most people are probably going to want to use QWERTY on the screen and just use this to either quick launch apps or to make phone calls. Now, I said something there that hints at future functionality, which is quick launch apps and key mapping. We had talked a little bit about earlier how we think that this product's going to be what people use on their person well into the future. And maturing that thought, we actually don't believe that in the future people are going to have a T9 or a QWERTY input on a phone. We actually think a phone is going to be a lot more like a remote control to all of the automations you need, all the apps you need in your life. And we also, Sebastian and I, we genuinely, I'm going to use a harsh word here, but I think it's important and reserved. We hate the appification of everything. This is another hill that we're going to die on. We hate that every single thing now is an app trying to get us to give our data to different companies. If you want to order a latte, a coffee, that's an app for a loyalty program. If you want to wash your clothes, that's an app for your laundry machine. If you want to turn the lights on in your house, that's an app. There's 1,000 apps here trying to, again, compete for our attention. And we don't think that's the future. We think the future is a return to simplicity. And we actually see a world where you could live life with 9 or less applications, 9 or less functions, key automations. And what we think the future of a mobile phone could look like is a lot more like a remote control, which is what we've designed here. What we're looking at here is 9 different buttons that could launch any application you want. Maybe the top left is something that you've programmed to launch Uber. Maybe the middle button is something you've programmed to call a loved one, a family member. Maybe the bottom button is something that you've programmed to turn the lights on in your house. We see the future of mobile technology being a app launcher like this. And again, you can have all the other functions on the device. You can have other applications on the device that you get through a typical navigation. But these quick launchers, we think, are the future. And just looking at this product for a moment, it really looks like a sports car. It's a fantastic, in my opinion, it's a fantastic design. And what we're working on is even making it RGB. So this is currently configured to be
no
red,
way.
but what if it could change colors?
Yeah.
That's something we're working towards. And I know we're tight for time here, so I do want to get through what's been popularly requested, which is the keypad. This is also a possibility.
Look at
This
that.
is a keypad. Yeah. So these are ideas that we'd be maturing, and of course, tons of color variants available. And here again is what it looks like, the system, to be able to remove it and to put the different tiles back in. And that's the product. That's the variations. That's the possibilities of it. I did want to get through some of the specs. I'm going to do this very, very quickly.
And you should actually, Chris, I think, unless it kicks us off, I think I went and changed my tier. I just didn't want to cut it. So
wow.
Go ahead. Yeah, it was worth it. So unless it gives me a warning or something, but yeah, just keep going as you normally would, and we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good. So what we have here in terms of specs, to be able to create a product like this, we did have to make some concessions. And it just has to do with, again, we have a profile now of a device that's smaller than the one we began with, that has a larger screen, that has significantly more processing power. That came with some consequences. It's physically impossible to put a headphone jack on this device with the thinness we have, with the fact that you have removable tiles to switch your inputs. And when we were looking at the device, we were of the opinion that people would much rather prefer the flexibility of changing their inputs to match whatever activity that they had versus the headphone jack, which could be a USB-C, and truthfully could be something that through a tile could be an addition in the future. It was a trade-off that had to be made, unfortunately, with this current form factor. And if there ever is in the future an opportunity to consider something like that, we're open to it. It's just the architecture of the devices. If I was to show the PCB internally, there's just no space to be able to fit something like that, and it's unfortunate.
Well, especially if
This
you've got
this
that entire, I mean, I don't know what the percentage of the width would be comparatively, but with that entire keypad essentially coming off, yeah, like where do you put the battery? Where do you, so yeah,
it was
I can kind of, I mean, I'll admit, I'm a little bummed. I'm a
yeah
3.5
yeah.
millimeter guy, but I fall into the camp that you just described. The flexibility of the keypad swappability, I do. I think that is I think that's fantastic. And if I have to sacrifice and continue using my USB-C headphones or Bluetooth, I will do that.
It'll absolutely have Bluetooth. It'll absolutely be able to use USB-C headphones. And again, if there's an opportunity for us to have a tile with some of these more traditional inputs, we would do that. And that also brings us to the micro SD conversation. We won't have the ability to have expandable storage through a micro SD on the base phone, but
Ah,
through a tile, it is possible.
mm,
These tiles connect to the device with USB, so it's not a serial input. It's USB, and as part of that, these tiles are effectively USB hubs, and you could potentially be able to put an SD card into the tile, which would work its way into the phone. It's a possibility, but it's not something that we've actively put in the pipeline of development. So I do want to caution everyone, and I want to be very careful that we're not selling something. I don't want to sell future hopes and dreams effectively. I want to be able to uh, tell people what exists now and what's possible now. But if I had to enter the question now, it would have no micro SD input. And what we've done instead is we've bumped up the base storage, as we see here with RAM and ROM. We initially started this project with a device that was 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of ROM. We have since doubled that, more than doubled that with this device, and we've added 64 GB, which we believe is more than enough for the average user, especially considering that for many people, this will be a second device. We've designed it and we've priced it to be the perfect second phone for people who want to disconnect from the notifications and the distractions on their main device. So I think this is more than enough to be able to do that. And again, we're gonna have cloud storage options and everything as well to consider. Now, taking us through some of these other things here, in terms of colors, we're going to have one color for the phone, which is a beautiful silver finish. And just to show you what this looks like, we've color matched the finish of the phone to be a perfect match to some very popular electronics, which I have an example of here. So this is an example of this is actually my flight over from from Toronto to Japan, and you can see here it just looks like it belongs beside what many people would probably have as their laptop. And we've also color matched it to some cars that Sebastian and I really like, some sports cars, like 911, for example. I don't have that image to pull up, unfortunately. Maybe I do, but we've sort of designed these phones to be similar to sports cars. I do. Okay, so you can see this app launcher, for example, and where the inspiration had come from. Just a beautiful product in our opinion. Very well put together.
yeah, those look like they go together.
Yeah. It's we wanted to create a very premium looking phone, but at the same time, give it to the world at a substantially valuable price. So we'll talk about that in a moment as well, what we're able to do on the pricing front. But the base phone will be silver. And if anyone wants to stylize it with different colors, that's something that we're absolutely looking towards, but it'll probably be through a silicone case that is put on. It'll be a really thin sleeve, a rubbery material. You basically put the phone in like a sock and it would just cover all of the components. And part of that's possible because the screen and the pad are raised by about a millimeter, a millimeter and a half. So between it, the channels around it could all be a silicon case, and it would create a really nice finish. It wouldn't look like there's any case on it whatsoever. It would just fit. And of course, it would add additional protection as well. So if people want to stylize it with their own unique colors, this is a very easy way for us to be able to do that at extremely low cost without having tons of different SKUs and iterations.
Right. And you'd
Yeah.
mentioned the sort of the structural integrity of the V2 or the concept 2 rather being a little bit of a concern. What changed from there to concept 3, or I guess the production model, in terms of is the housing made out of a different material comparatively?
Yeah. Well, we're doing our best right now to we're still working on the CMF for the device. So the actual finish of it, the materials that we're going to be using, it's a wild card at the moment. We're doing our best to use the most premium components that we can. But of course, if we were to say, for example, make the back aluminum or titanium, if we use any metal on the back, it's going to have a trade-off with RF. And
Right.
that, of course, is we would rather have better RF and better reception on a device, especially a mobile device like this, than a aluminum finish. It's just for someone to be using the product and for it to be reliable, for them to be able to use it to hotspot to their laptop. It's very important that this can connect to local networks successfully and reliably. So if we have to trade off some metal materials for plastic, we're going to make that trade off. But that shouldn't impact the feel and the look of it whatsoever. It'll be very premium. It'll be significantly more premium than this product here, which was not manufacturable simply because of the rail system. The rail system was something we had to abandon temporarily because this channel on the side here that would hold the case, uh, that that had caused the concern there. It's just not something that was able to be built. There's just no way to glue the pieces together correctly and or adhere the pieces together. And that was sort of the main reason why we had to make a change there. So there's no rail system here. And again, even with changing colors, previously the rail would have been the mechanism to do that on this. You just simply slide this out and then put a different color back panel on. With this, with the new phone, it'll be a silicon case. It'll be something similar to how cases are structured today on other mobile products. And in terms of some of the other specs here, again, we've got a 2.8-inch screen, which has there's a 20% larger screen with 70% more pixels per inch than the predecessors. So not only do we have a larger screen, but we have a higher quality screen, and that'll make for better imagery, of course, and for just an overall more premium experience with the product. We have a chipset that is, for the most part, pretty brand new. It's new in its life cycle. So what does that mean? That means that we can continue to produce and develop on this device for hopefully up to 5 years. This is
Oh,
a
cool.
product that, yeah, it's just beginning its life cycle. Whereas a lot of other devices, even sometimes here the F21 mentioned as a product, the Cat S22, as we know, the chipsets that are used on those devices, they're end of life, or they're nearing end of life. So the networks that the different operating or the different operators like T-Mobile, Verizon, there's a risk that when they make an update, a lot of these older devices might not be as reliable on them. They might be banned altogether. It's just having a new chipset is incredibly important, and it's just more secure as well. So we've gone with a newer model there that will have support for many years, and we've also implemented a better camera and camera sensor. So we initially started this project with a 1 megapixel camera. It was meant to be something that was just a utility product. We're now going to have a camera that is closer to what we would be seeing from many of the other more premium dumb phones in the community. And that'll be of value to a lot of people, I'm sure. So we're not branding this as a camera device, but there will absolutely be a better camera to use to capture some of those core moments if you need to.
So maybe went from being initially conceived as maybe like a QR code scanner type to now you could actually take a picture.
Well, one idea we had was, again, this whole system of having tiles for every occasion. It was really based around the idea of how can we have a device that can transform into different single intention, single purpose technology. So what if you were to take this tile out, and what if we were to create a tile that was actually just maybe 2 or 3 buttons that were camera functions? Maybe there's this giant record button here. Maybe there's 2 other buttons to see your gallery, and something, another item like to change camera settings or camera type, or the camera mode, and that's it. This is now just a quick launcher for the camera, and you say you're going out to an event, to a concert, to a camping weekend, and you think that you don't, so you would need a cell phone, you need some way to communicate with people in an emergency, but you don't want that to be the purpose. You want the purpose to be able to capture certain items. So maybe you just put on the camera tile and use it for that reason. What if there was a gamepad with a D-pad and a couple other action buttons here, and you just wanted to carry around a portable game device? That's technically a possibility, and it becomes a single purpose device for that reason. These are all just different examples of how people might use them on their day-to-day. And that was one of the reasons why we juiced up the camera as well. It's just, what if we could create a mini digital camera with this? It would still have a retro look, and we're going to be working with some partners to develop that forward. But we wanted the camera to be a bit more than just utility. We also wanted to have a possible lifestyle component too. Okay, and then the next slide here, and just to close things off, we've got our network support, which we're happy to say is exceptional. We've been able to add band support for every region. I should probably put an asterisk there. We haven't tested every region yet, and I would be a little bit concerned with making a claim like that without having tested it first. But our band support is not just, we're not going to have variants for each region. We're not going to have a Europe variation of the phone and a US variation. We're just going to have one worldwide device, and it will have band support for every region, pending tests, of course. But on paper, it should work out, and we're not going the path of having 2 different models depending on where you live in the world. It'll be one Sidephone for everyone, and this just simplifies the purchase experience, and it helps drive economies of scale as well. So very, very happy about that, and that was a huge win for us in the product. It'll have a hotspot, of course. It'll have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. The GPS has been juiced up as well. One of the comments we had heard was support for Galileo, which is more popular in the EU, and the device will have that. So GPS functionality on this with maps should be pretty effective. And of course, a lot of these components we're going to be testing as we get to the engineering prototype and beyond. SIM support, we went from dual SIM, micro SIM to a single nano SIM, and it won't have eSIM at this time. That's not something we will support, but with all the partnerships that we've been creating, we don't really feel like that will be a requirement. We think the nano SIM should be more than enough for what we're looking to do, and provide an excellent experience to customers. In terms of inputs, outputs, we've got power and volume rockers here on the side of the device. There's the SIM tray removal on this side, and there's the USB-C at the bottom, and then of course the input here, which is the tile. There's going to be noise canceling microphones and very, very high quality speakers. This whole entire top section is a very powerful speaker, and the reason why we've invested in higher quality components there is, again, we want to future proof the device, and we think that into the future, doing voice to text is going to be a more popular method to be able to draft a message, to be able to communicate with an AI assistant. So we wanted to invest a lot in those 2 areas in particular, to, again, even make this a more accessible device. Those are two very
That
important
actually was
items.
something before even going to the Q&A. Now that you've brought it up, I did see a couple questions about that, specifically text to speech, as so it, a screen
Yeah,
reader or something like that, if someone is maybe vision impaired, especially with it having this much smaller screen, and then the reverse of that, speech to text, just like you've just described. So it sounds like there's
absolutely
going to be
something on our
some
radar.
stuff there. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely something on our radar.
And then
And
is it 4G slash 4G LTE North America? I know it's a little branded a little
yes,
differently here.
yeah,
No 5G at this time, or in this version.
no, no 5G in this
Okay.
version, and not something that we felt was needed. Again, we have to try and get this as low cost as possible
Right.
to the market. That was our goal. And 5G devices are more complex. The technology is earlier um, in its life cycle. So even when it came to getting certifications with Verizon, with T-Mobile, with all the different partners, if it was a 5G device, because the technology is newer, the process takes a lot longer. The tests take a lot longer. It's novel for a lot of the manufacturers as well. Whereas 4G is so well understood for speed to market, we would be miles faster with a device like that. And when we look at a lot of the different regions, they're just only phasing out 3G for the most part now. So in we would expect that 4G is still going to be on the horizon for probably over 5 years. This is not going to be moving anytime soon. That
Right.
gives us a lot of room to play with. And maybe in 5 years or after that could be something we consider. We'll have to see if things change. But at the moment wasn't something that would be required, and it would have significantly changed time to market, which was very important to us. Last point here I'd want to cover is the battery, which currently is 1800. This has been something that we've paired. It's improved over the initial phone, and it matches a lot of what our competitors have. But I have a plus there, and the reason for that is because the tiles themselves could possibly be batteries in the future, and ways to add additional capacity. Again, because it's a USB interface, there's no reason why it couldn't be an additional battery pack. These are things that we're interested in exploring further, and in offering. And what I have here just in my hand again, I sort of switched out the black tile for a 3D printed purple one just to show how tiles really do change the look and feel of the device. We really think it's going to be something that people use to personalize it to their own needs. It's even an opportunity for us to create strategic partnerships with people. What if we were to partner with someone like Spotify and create a custom edition, a custom tile that was just a skip, a play button, a menu option, some hotkeys for the Spotify app. That would be something that I think would be so cool. And if anyone is watching this video from the Spotify team, Sebastian and I, we've been trying to reach out to you guys, and we're willing to pay for that integration. Honestly, that integration is so valuable to us. I think it would be absolutely incredible. So just goes to show how with different partners we can create very cool special edition tiles like this, and it completely changes what it looks like. Imagine going out and seeing someone with a side phone, but their tile is just completely unique. It's even an opportunity for us to put Easter eggs throughout the entire experience. What if there's special edition tiles that only maybe we do a limited edition run and there's only 100 of them made or 1,000 of them made, and they become collector items. That's something that we're interested in exploring as well. We think that this is so unique to our brand and something that we're absolutely going to be exploring.
I love that.
Some, some
I think or yeah, go ahead, continue.
oh, well, I was going to say that there are some things that aren't listed here that we're absolutely going to continue to explore, which is the repairability aspect. Uh,
Mm,
the the phone itself doesn't have a removable battery, but what we found through our research is that most people likely aren't going to need to do that. It's only when the device is performing, or maybe after several years, if there's degradation over the batteries, which is natural, that might be a case where it needs to be replaced. And at that time, we'll provide a manual. We'll make sure that we're always doing what we can to help the consumer uh, keep the device running smoothly. Uh, Sebastian and I were users of this technology too. We're well aware of the flaws of a lot of smartphones today. We think that by incepting the company with good values, we can create a profitable way to not require people to buy new devices every single year in order for us to continue to function. We're going to build the business in a way where we can truly give devices to the world that are best for people. And that means repairability is a core part of that. It also means that another huge community that we want to support is people that want to tinker with the device, people that want to develop with different tile ideas that they've thought of. We want to have a big community there, and that's something we're actively exploring. We're open to the idea of it. We'd love to offer it, and if the community has ideas there to be able to change things to make it possible, we'd be open to it. I think having independent developers create cooler ways to use what we've done here with the tile system would be awesome for everyone.
I mean, and you guys, well, I know Chris knows this, Sebastian, you might know this as well. As soon as someone can get me a 20 key Shure type so that I can turn this thing into a BlackBerry Pearl, oh man, that would be the cherry on top. But I did want to ask something that I've noticed as I've sort of been starting to review some devices is official versus unofficial compatibility with North American carriers. I know this is something that exists in the United States and Canada. Not really sure about Mexico or some of the South American regions. I know that it's not a super big thing in Europe, that there are carrier specific certifications that you need or that carriers require to work on their network. In the US, AT&T is kind of the big one there. Verizon a little bit, but not as much. T-Mobile, I know, is a lot more open. Is it going to be officially compatible with the networks or unofficially compatible? If you can speak to that at this point.
We have every intention to make it officially compatible.
Oh,
It
nice.
really comes down to pre-order support. If the community sees this product and they want it, they want to support more devices like this being built, the pre-orders are going to be critically important in our ability to get those official certifications. They're expensive. I'm completely transparent with everyone. Sebastian and I, we've put already into this project probably $300,000 to $400,000 out of our own money.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, it's completely bootstrapped, but like this has been incredibly challenging to to spin up. It's just the nature of a hardware product like this, and a lot of these certifications are possibly $50,000 to $60,000 in addition to what we've already spent. These are just these are items that we would love to have, but it's all prioritization. It's where we put our resources first, and we had initially put it towards kickstarting the manufacturing so that we can deliver on time. We put it towards patent protection for key items and IP. The certifications are very high priority. They're a next step, and we would need the community support for that. If people want to make sure it's reliable on their network, that we have enough resources to be able to get some key apps for their region. I know certain Scandinavian countries or European countries have ID apps that are required for their country. If we would absolutely love to reach out to all those partners directly and have official support. It will just take resources, and we can absolutely do that with community support. And you know, I think a lot of people don't really give themselves the credit for how much power they individually have. It just takes, I would say, 10, maybe 100 people in a certain country to message a company to make them notice and reach out and develop a partnership. It doesn't take thousands of people. Just it takes a small select group of very motivated, passionate people to flag it with the appropriate people and say, hey, this is a product that I want that could change my life. Please develop official support for it. And Sebastian and I are going to do everything we can to make that integration as seamless as possible for these companies. But it'll be a community effort. So absolutely think it's possible, and we have every intention to officially support as much as possible.
Well, I think that I mean that makes perfect sense to me. So will people be able to, well, and this is kind of a bit of a transition, I guess. Will people be able to indicate, like when they order or pre-order, the network that they are intending to use it on, or okay, because I was like, how would that even work? But that kind of transitions to what is the timeline looking at now as far as pre-orders, the whatever campaign, initial launch campaign, if you can talk about the price? And then
Yeah.
also lots of questions on the software side of things as well. So those are kind of two broad topics: the where things are at right now in terms of the launch campaign, pre-orders, shipping, price, and then also a lot of software questions as well, as far as
Yeah.
the operating system.
On the release side of things, distribution, I'm going to be very transparent with, again, just our experience bringing a hardware product to market. And if anyone here is watching it and feeling inspired to start their own product, reach out to me directly. From day one, I've always said that I don't see other people who are motivated to create alternatives to smartphones as competitors. I see them as friends, and I see them as people that I want to connect with, and help, because the world needs more products like this. So I'm going to be very transparent with what our experience has been like to hopefully help others and inspire others to continue forward. One of the things that we had thought a lot about was, should we do Kickstarter or should we do a private release? Again, most of this has been bootstrapped already. We're going to have our minimum order quantity completely bootstrapped. So this product is going to be built. There's no risk there. There's no risk of having a campaign, not having it fall through. And this is just always a concept. We have put in hundreds of thousands of dollars to make this product and bring it to the world. It's going to happen. Now, that said, a Kickstarter is still incredibly valuable because we don't know how many units to make. We don't know. We have this gap basically. We have a minimum order quantity of 1,000 units, which is the concept run basically. And then there's this jump to our next order, which is 10,000 units. Now, if everyone had purchased one of those first 1,000 units, we still don't have enough money to do the 10,000 unit order. So a Kickstarter becomes a very important tool for us to bridge that gap and now put an order in to develop the 10,000 units. And as soon as that happens, it's sort of like starting a lawnmower. It's pulling it a couple times. Once we get that first 10,000 unit order in, the business will continue. And it's just bridging that gap, which is very difficult right now. And one of the reasons why we're motivated to go forward with a Kickstarter, we think that it'll have more legitimacy. We think that people will be more comfortable to go through and pre-order through a system like Kickstarter versus privately through our website. At the end of the day, it would be indifferent. It would be just as secure either way. But those are some of the advantages of Kickstarter. Now, some of the disadvantages and issues and why we may not end up going that route is the sheer cost. We have done everything in our power to make this product as affordable as we can. We understand that a lot of people have smartphones. We have a lot of substitutes that we're directly and indirectly competing with. So we didn't want to come to market with a device that was $600-700. We don't think that that is a fair price for the consumer, even though that's quite literally what we can price this at based off of what we've done here, the engineering of it. We would rather take a hit personally on our profits to be able to get it to more people more affordably, because we think it's a powerful tool for the world. And what we've done is we've basically said the minimum that we could price this at, the minimum would be about $250. That's based off of what we've done here, all the engineering, the high quality components. That is the minimum. Now, we're still going back and forth on whether we could do a further incentive and basically take no profit for the people that order it first. That's something that we're considering. Again, everyone that supported us from day one, we want to be able to give back in some way, shape, or form. And if there's a way to do a further incentive, a further discount to honor that, maybe even create a special edition pile, we're going to consider that. Maybe even get a way to bring this to $199, put it below the $200 mark. If it's possible and feasible, we're going to consider it, but only for the people who have been on the wait list. Other than that, retail would be $250 to $300, but not more than that. We're going to, even if we have to take a hit on profitability, we don't want this to be above $300. We want it to be accessible for everyone, and we're confident that through partnerships, through other mechanisms, we can find a way to recoup that in another way.
And how's the and that, I mean, that makes sense to me. I understand. I think that the original target price was a little bit lower, but the flip side of that is the initial device was also much lower.
It's
I
a
don't know this.
completely different device.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a completely. Can you speak to? And I know from some other projects that I think the three of us are all familiar with, and definitely people watching this are familiar with. Timelines can be tricky. Can you talk about timeline at all as far as where you're at planning wise in the rollout? I mean, it sounds like you're still kind of back and forth on the Kickstarter or the in-house, but timeline wise, what's that look like?
So we're likely in the next week or two, we're going to have a deposit for the pre-orders, basically. And regardless of whether we do it independently or through Kickstarter, we're going to have this initial deposit period where people can lock in the lowest possible price for this phone. The price of the phone at pre-orders, which we open up next week, will never be that price again. It will basically only increase from there. But we truly want to give people who have been part of this from day one an opportunity to get it at the best possible price. That will be available within the next week.
And awesome. So pre-orders are opening within the next week.
It would be a deposit on the pre-order. So it's sort of a deposit to lock in that particular price. The pre-orders themselves, whether we do crowdfunding through Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or independently, that will likely be June. And the devices will be a fast follow from there. Assuming the campaign ends early July, we would basically go and start shipping the devices end of July, early August. That would be the plan. So everything's moving very, very quickly there. Again, it's been a pretty chaotic situation globally for many different reasons, and there are things outside of our control that affect that. It may be pushed back into early fall, but we have every indication so far is pointing towards a summer launch, which we're just absolutely thrilled by. It's I can't help but feel incredibly blessed to have everyone on the team that we do, to be able to think of a mobile phone product and get it to market in what we've done, which was 8 months, and have it this high quality and this stellar. It's never been done before. There's not a single company on the planet that has done something like this, and it just feels I just feel incredibly grateful to have had an opportunity to build this product. So just awesome.
Yeah, love it.
That's the timeline.
Yeah, love it. I mean, I'm sure. Well, Q&A maybe kind of a little bit at the end. I'm just so curious about the operating system.
I put a cookie in my mouth. I haven't been out in time, but I did want to mention a little bit about the ethos of the OS and the phone as a whole. We know that there's quite a diverse range of other phones that we'll be competing with, and a few of them are stricter on the ethos of disconnection than others. We decided as a business, and Sebastian, keep me honest here, we decided that if we want to create a product that will ultimately have wide adoption globally, and sort of propel the dumb phones unit, the dumb phones community beyond I would say a niche movement to more a mass appeal movement. Our best chances would be with creating a product that's genuinely fun to use, something that people could see themselves integrating into their lifestyle. So that means a affordable price. That means just immediately something that looks attractive, that's fun. And that is why when we look at the OS and support for application, we're not as strict as some of our competitors. And it's why we are open to working with developers to build a better system altogether. We ultimately want to create a product that people will use, that people will get value from, that people will find fun and engaging, because that's going to keep people coming back to the device over time. We don't want you to feel like you have to use this device and sort of compromise on other items. We want this to really be getting more out of life. It's not a compromise by any means, and that's why certain applications like the web browser are going to be there, at least for a particular build of the OS. There may be a version for kids in the future, or maybe a kosher device that has it removed. That's completely possible, but generally speaking, we're not opposed. It wouldn't be against our ethos to have a web browser. It's something we're completely open to for those that need it. Again, Jake, last time we had talked, we said, what if there's this active check-in that we do on a bi-weekly basis to see how people are progressing towards their goals? These are things that we can incorporate to help people over time. It's an interesting product because although we have it open like this, we're not incentivized as a company. We haven't built our revenue model in a way where we're actively incentivized to keep your time and attention in the product. It's the inverse. So that's why we think we can do a lot to encourage people to not use applications they find toxic, because it's not in our best interest to do that. Whereas a lot of smartphone companies now, they incorporate all these apps which are time sinks because they just want to serve ads. It's not the way we're built. So we think that even though it's open, we don't want people to get discouraged and say, oh, well, this isn't the product for me, it's not going to help me. It will absolutely do that, and it's because we're incentivized for the product to do exactly that for everyone.
Right.
Hopefully that makes a bit of sense there. But we didn't want to restrict things to eliminate the wider population from even trying. But for those who are purists who want a more lean experience, that is something we're absolutely open to. So yeah.
Okay, these two are kind of together. People have wondered, what is the best way to contact you guys, and early testing programs, if you have anything in the works for getting prototypes or early production models in the hands of testers to get some of that feedback that you guys have talked about. So that's kind of the front end of the question. The back end being, what's the best way for people to contact you, whether it's the subreddit, if it's if there's a preferred email address, like if people don't have Reddit, they're maybe just seeing stuff on YouTube. So kind of a dual point question there.
The general contact for Sidephone would be hello@sidephone.com, and that will go to either Sebastian, myself, or others that are part of the project to be able to field it as required. We may decide, this is something that Sebastian and I have been talking about, we may decide to take everyone who's been on the waitlist so far and basically give them direct emails to Sebastian and myself, to basically a direct way for anyone on the waitlist today to be able to message us directly. And that, again, is just our way to show whoever's supported us so far that we ultimately want to build this for you. The people that sight unseen supported the project without even knowing what it would look like to begin with, we genuinely want them to help dictate what this product becomes. And part of that means direct communication with ourselves. So I'd be happy to give my personal phone number. I'd be happy to give my email so that those folks there could reach out. The other thing too is Reddit, as you'd mentioned. That's our community. We're not doing a Discord. We're not doing a private community. There's no alternative. It's Reddit, and the reason why we've decided on that is because it's a public forum. If someone doesn't want to log in with an account, create a Reddit account, they can still see and have all the benefits of what is spoken about there. Again, it just goes towards our values of being a transparent and open company as well. There's no back room where things are being discussed. It's going to be Reddit, and Reddit is where we're going to collaborate as a group, as a community, create the product together, and it'll be available for the whole world to see. Those are the channels that we'll be using.
Cool. Well, gents, I think that's all the questions that we covered, most of them during the thing. Thank you so much, Chris. Thanks for taking the time while traveling. I know that there's a lot going on in vacation time. Sebastian, thanks for hopping on. Guys, I am out of my mind excited for this. I know that the community is going to be thrilled, and I can now confidently say several communities. I mean, I'm thinking of the modding community, I'm thinking of the retro gaming community, I'm thinking of the dumb phone, the digital minimalism. I mean, this is something like, talk about lightning in a bottle here that you guys have crafted. I think it's amazing. So my hat is off to you, literally, on this call, but I'm excited going forward. Love to help any way that I can. So folks, if go ahead and check out the website, sidephone.com. There is a lot of activity on the Reddit page. It's reddit.com/r/sidephone. You'll find all three of us on this call pretty active there. Me being probably too enthusiastic at times, but yeah, more exciting things to come. We'll check the Reddit page and the our inboxes for announcements for the pre-order deposits sometime next week.